Jim Bob, we spoke to Shane. He was saying AD Mitchell stood up in the team meeting and took responsibility for the fumble. I guess, what do you say to a player in that moment and then beyond that moment after something like that happens?
It's a learning opportunity for a young player. Um, there was a lot of game left to play, and you want to sort of anytime you have a play that you regret or a play you're not proud of, you want to be able to learn from that thing long term. But in the moment, you got to sort of flush the negative thoughts or the negative energy and go play the next play, and that's what we try to encourage out of our guys. So things are going to happen in this league. You're going to have good plays or bad plays, and whether it's all sorts of different type of things that can happen. You want to be able to flush the bad ones, move on and play your best moving forward. That's what we try to encourage.
Joel.
When you looked at Daniel's interceptions, does he need to get those throws out a little earlier in the down, maybe, or is it just maybe kind of a ball he didn't quite let go the way he wanted?
I think each turnover has its own story. I think that both of those we were kind of pushing the ball down the field and had a shot to really attack the defense down the field with a look that we thought we liked. We'll talk with Daniel about how to work different versions of those throws and how to make those things. But we're gonna stay aggressive, pushing the ball down the field, and certain defenses will give you opportunities at them, and you got to do what we can do offensively to give our guys the best chance to go up and make that play, or maybe as a coaching staff put them in a little bit better position to make the throw and make the catch. So just big part of offensive football is sort of cleaning all that stuff up on our end as coaches, so the players can go out there and execute. We'll work to do that, and those guys are going to keep ripping it out there and keep trying to go make those plays.
Kevin.
How big of a menace is Max Crosby?
About the biggest you can. I don't know. I don't have enough words in my vocabulary to describe it. He's a force on the field. He's one of the best players in the league. He has been for several years. He's an excellent football player. He plays just about every single down of the game, and he plays at maximum intensity every single down he's out there. He competes to and through the whistle. If we weren't playing against him, he's a pleasure to watch play football. He's just a great football player. But we are playing against him this week, so we're excited for the challenge, and we're aware of the challenge. And he's like I said, he's one of the best players in football for a reason, and I think our guys are excited to go up against him. But yeah, it's impressive to watch him fly around and make plays and defeat blocks and make sacks and interceptions and fly over the top of piles or around blocks or swim blocks. And he's got a lot of different tools at his disposal for wreaking havoc. So we're gonna make sure we have a great idea of just everything that's in his arsenal and go give it our best. He's a great player, and like I said, the challenge will be a large challenge, and we'll look forward to tackling that thing. But he's a heck of a player. Not saying anything controversial there, because I think everybody in the league would agree with that. This guy's a phenomenal football player.
And then Shane talked yesterday about, AD needing to earn trust back. For you, how would that look this week for AD?
It's every meeting and every practice, you go about your business the right way and you get better. You're a young player, you're improving through a practice drill or a practice period, or just anything that we do. You just go back and you get back to doing work the right way. You don't dwell on the past too much. I think that's probably a key for a lot of us in our line of work. We're going to have negatives, right? You're going to lose games. The best players, coaches, teams, whatever in the history of the NFL, you still lose some games. You still have some things go against you. You still have some plays that aren't quite perfect on your resume. Those guys that put together really impressive careers are able to digest those things, learn from those things, and then go back to work and keep getting better. You can't let one play dictate, one play from last week dictate how you perform next week. You just got to go put work in, and AD is going to do that. He's had a really good attitude about how he goes about work. You guys have asked me kind of several weeks here, how's AD Mitchell working around the building. He's in here, he's working, he's getting ready for the next opponent, he's getting ready for whatever we may have on the call sheet that week. He's practicing, he's getting extra catches, he's doing all the stuff that you want a young receiver to do. So the goal for him is, let's learn from any mistake that we may have had, and then let's go attack getting better. Right? It's early in the year. There's a lot of year left, which means there's a lot of getting better to be done for all of us, but especially for a young player in this league like AD.
We'll do a few more here. Jake.
It seems like Josh Downs has been used a lot within and inside the sticks than normal. Probably used to seeing him stretch the field a little bit more. How do you guys get him, branching out a little bit more, like we're, I guess, kind of used to seeing over the last couple of years?
Yeah, and I think sometimes that comes with the weekly game plan, which ties in with the weekly opponent and how we're maybe utilizing all our guys within the pass game and sometimes the run game, right? Those receivers sometimes get involved in a run play here or there. So we try to put the entire picture together to give ourselves the best chance to win each week. Josh is certainly capable of doing a lot of different things to help our offense. He has in years past. And, he did have that real nice catch down the field a few weeks back on a 3rd and short. So Josh is capable of a whole lot of stuff, and we will not restrict his ability to go attack the defense, but each week it might be a little bit different. There's certain, sort of plays down the field, they call them shot plays or whatever. There's certain sort of plays where you're pushing the ball down the field that are better served for one position versus the other, or maybe they play off of a certain route that one guy has run versus another guy has run. So we're lucky enough to have a wide receiver crew with a lot of varying strengths and talents, and we try to put those guys in as good a position as we can to go have success. Josh is putting together a nice start to the season. Each weekly game plan is a little bit different for him and for all our guys, but he's certainly capable. I'm sure we'll see that again before you know it. Whether it's this week or next week or whatever, the weekly game plan is Josh attacks it and he tries to detail it up and use the information that he can accumulate through the week to go play his best football, and he did just that the other day. He'll keep doing that. Josh has been really, really fun to work with.
Chap.
Yeah, Jake mentioned what I was going to mention with Josh Downs again. I know it's week-to-week game plans and all that, but after 4 games, does it feel like he needs to be more involved? When he's like 3rd in targets, and I guess off of that, how much does Tyler Warren's presence sort of eat into what he might normally do?
I think there are, the targets get spread around, and I think that's a good thing for an offense attacking a defense. I think Tyler's production this year has been a really good thing sort of offensively for us, which spreads targets a little bit more for all the guys. But you're talking about sort of internal inside the numbers. Josh can line up all over the field. He does end up in the slot a little bit more than he ends up outside. So there's probably some truth to that, Chap, but I think it's a beneficial truth for the Colts offense. We'll make sure, we're lucky enough to have a bunch of good players out there running around. When we call a pass play and we get 5 eligible players, we're lucky enough to have 5 pretty good ones out there running around most downs, and those guys all deserve the football quite a bit. They all deserve targets, and we're going to work like crazy this time of the week as a coaching staff to make sure that we're utilizing everybody. I think it sort of ebbs and flows as the year goes. I wouldn't be shocked at all if you look up and Josh Downs has a huge game one of these games, because he's working in that way, and as things sort of come and go, the ball tends to find you. So he's going to keep working the right way. I have a lot of confidence in that. He'll be a really, really good football player for us all year. And I think that, like I said, the targets will kind of go up and down for each guy as the week goes, and that has to do with the opponent and us and our game plan and all that stuff each week. So we're real happy with Josh, and he's going to keep helping us sort of try to put our best foot forward offensively as the year goes.
And last question, Stephen.
Hey, Jim Bob, super random. I think Daniel wears one of those wristbands with the calls on it. But this is not a question about him. Just generally speaking, I was just looking for different opinions. Why do some teams and some quarterbacks wear them and others don't? Do you have any preference about all that? Does it matter? I've heard things elsewhere is why I ask.
No, it's an interesting. I was excited once you said it was going to be random. I didn't know what was coming. So these are fun. We should do this one a
Keep
week.
you on your toes.
I think one a week. Anyway, no, it's a really good question. Growing up as a young coach in this league, I think you can track some of the trends schematically. You would say there's maybe more motion these days than there used to be, which means maybe the huddle calls, the formations and motions lead to a little bit longer huddle calls. Those huddle calls can get pretty wordy and pretty exotic. Some quarterbacks, or at least quarterbacks of years past, of yesteryear, would have never wanted to wear a wristband because in the huddle they wanted to be able to spit that play out. But gosh, these plays are getting pretty wordy sometimes these days. Different offenses have different verbiage systems, and some of them are quite wordy and some of them are pretty succinct. I would say each quarterback has a different mindset on the importance of a wristband. I sure do think it's helpful when you're able to spit that call out off the wristband. Sometimes it allows us offensively to maybe do something that's a little bit more exotic from a formational, emotional motion standpoint that we think is going to help us that week that maybe if we didn't have a wristband, we might not do.
Okay.
So I bet you each staff has had some version of that discussion. I know there are mindsets about it, and I think there are mindsets about it that are maybe different than they were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. But those things change with the times, like we all try to do, I think, a little bit. So tends to be best practice, at least for us. Right now, we think it's the best way to go about business.
All right.